A very good morning, team. Fabio here. Hope you are doing well. Powell has reaffirmed that inflation control is top priority over rate cuts, and furthermore, the Fed has warned that tariffs may trigger persistent inflation, pushing the Federal Reserve in the United States to maintain a very cautious policy stance. Because, guys, low interest rates are more likely to fuel inflation higher. As you know, Trump has been calling for rate cuts for a very long time. However, Powell has been saying that he wants to be cautious in yesterday's meeting. Therefore, the Fed will look to keep interest rates at this same level, which is ultimately more bullish for the dollar, as lower rates more often than not will weaken a currency and higher rates will strengthen a currency. Now we're looking here at EURUSD, and we can see that euro dollar is still very, very uncertain. We haven't really moved as of yesterday, and we're pretty much at the exact same level of the weekly open. Currently, what we saw yesterday was a bullish candle close in towards the upside, but still we are just stalling inside of this range. Now, this range becomes more clear here on the 4-hour time frame, and what I'm currently looking at is just to play within this overall range. So what I do is that I draw in this Fibonacci retracement tool, and I set it to range trading. What I do is that I highlight the 75% mark and the 25% mark, and what you will see is that EURUSD is then a good sell from the 75 and a good buy from the 25. So what I'm looking for here is for the market to potentially start pushing down lower again. However, as of now here on the 4-hour, we have bullish fractal structure. So here we had a high break, here we had a high break, and this here is now your fractal low. So the low of that red candle. And as long as that low holds, we should continue pushing up higher. However, if that, let's say that dotted line were to break, then I'll be looking for some further downside once again. I do see there to be an opportunity for EURUSD to start selling off in the near future, but where that exactly will happen still remains uncertain. Looking here at the weekly time frame, we are obviously at a nice level, being that we have grabbed liquidity above these descending highs. We've had that overextended push in towards the upside. And the dollar index is, of course, at a swing low here of 99.578 underneath the overall swing range. So on the dollar index, also looking for a potential rebound back in towards the upside. But this dollar strength will be very dependent on the fact if there is going to be a trade deal. Yesterday, Japan visited the United States. No real announcements have yet been made, despite that there is some progress. But we're obviously really looking for an actual trade deal to be announced, which will then push the dollar up higher once again. Looking at the dollar itself, we are obviously in a very bearish trend at the moment, and we can see that the overall momentum is still heavily in towards the downside. We saw an overextended leg in towards this downside, and we're now consolidating and moving sideways. Now, the dollar here is not really going anywhere. It is currently just stuck, and I'm waiting for its next big move. The next big move is likely going to be triggered by news, but for now here on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we have again a bullish fractal structure break, but this doesn't really mean anything. Also, if you look at the lower time frame, it doesn't really say anything at all. All we can really do is look at the higher time frame and understand that the higher time frame is still very, very bearish, and that overall we are looking for more shorts, but that the high probability shorts will come once the market overall retraces in towards this supply zone, and then from there what I'll be looking for further downside. So keep it in mind with your USD, a pullback is likely to come very, very soon. I am focusing on looking for that potential pullback play. I'm just keeping in mind that this is not the 4-hour fractal low. If that 4-hour fractal low were to break, I'll be looking for more downside. This is also on the 1-hour time frame a structural level. So let's see if we can break that, and then I'll be looking for some more shorts. Otherwise, what will happen is that if we break this high over here, we can look for longs. So if that black line over there breaks and kind of like this immediate bearish order flow breaks, then I'll be looking for longs. So that is the long opportunity that I've identified. And if we break that dotted line over here, which is the 4-hour fractal low, we break this area of support, then I'll be looking for shorts once again, as I don't really see this as a potential catalyst for a reversal up higher. Okay, so that is also pretty much in line, that dollar or that EURUSD downside with the potential dollar index pullback. And with the dollar index being at such a significant swing low, I am definitely very interested in looking for that pullback. Everybody is still short on the dollar, but I do think that it is a perfect level to see the dollar index start making a retracement back up higher. Going into Australian dollar against the US dollar, we can see that we are still very, very slow. It is stalling now at an area of resistance where previously the market has also reversed in towards the downside. 1, 2, 3, and now fourth touch kind of like of this key level of resistance of around 0.64, 0.63. So looking at Australian dollar against the US dollar, I'm still favoring another push up to at least take out all of those highs. You can see already that Aussie dollar has taken out this high over here. So as soon as this high got taken out, we saw the retracement back in towards the downside. So now is a good time to be a little bit cautious with AU. You can see that from the impulsiveness that we had, we're now starting to move a little bit more sideways. So it could be that we're going to see a deeper correction very, very soon here on AU before looking for further upside once again. What is nice to see, by the way, is that overall this daily area of supply, which is this buy before the sell here, got taken out once again. So again, a very good example of a fake area of supply, and it is fake supply because there's no liquidity in the overall push down, and furthermore, you have equal highs right above it. So this area of supply would have been far stronger if it actually took out the highs over here and then sold off in towards the downside, and if there were little bumps in the road as well, which would have caused the market to then take out liquidity and then potentially push down lower. But yeah, overall AU, I am looking for further upside still, but I would love to see some more manipulation first. For example, now you have this here as your 4-hour fractal low, this here as your 4-hour fractal high. You kind of have like this bullish trend. I would like to see some more manipulation, some stops getting taken out before looking for any further longs once again. So that's AU, looking for some short-term shorts. Then going into GBPUSD, we can see that GU is also starting to move a little bit sideways. Here on the daily time frame, we can see that we've tapped into this imbalance candle over here. So again, what is an imbalance candle, guys? A imbalance candle is a 50% body candlestick, and a 50% body candlestick just pretty much represents a area of consolidation on the lower time frame. So if you look at the 1 hour time frame inside of that daily imbalance, you can see that that is where the market starts to consolidate, and consolidation areas are most likely areas that are going to cause reversals. Now looking here at the 4 hour time frame, we can see that the 4 hour has broken the overall fractal low here. So with this 4 hour fractal low break and this imbalance now in control, I'll be looking for some short-term downside after a massive overextended leg in towards the highs. So an overall correction here on GBPUSD wouldn't be strange, and I am looking for that to happen here on the daily time frame. Obviously, again, daily imbalance, it's going to be more of a short-term play, not something that I'm going to swing trade down, but it is something that I have my eyes open for. Also here on the weekly time frame, we can see that we're inside a weekly imbalance. This candlestick over here, again, this is also a 50% body candle from where we pretty much broke this overall ascending trend line. So looking for a potential correction here on GBPUSD. Keep an eye on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. Here on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that the market is moving a little bit messy, but overall, yeah, I mean, this is now currently the supply that is in control. Keep your eyes open maybe for a 15-minute setup. On the 15-minute time frame, we have this area of supply over here that the market is currently reacting to. I personally don't just sell from the supply zones. I wait for the change of character. So I would like to see in 3 minutes this candle close like this. This becomes your fractal high. Then, for example, high break. This becomes the low, and then look for the change of character for a short position. So that's what I'm looking for on GBPUSD. Looking at NZDUSD, and obviously, guys, I'm saying that I'm looking for a short, but we need to see confirmation before getting into shorts. Looking here at NZDUSD, we took out this high over here. After taking that high, it wouldn't be strange to see a pullback after such a heavy move. Even if it's just like some manipulation that goes on the lower time frame. For example, taking out this low, for me, that would make a lot of sense to see a little bit more manipulation before any further upside at all. So yeah, looking for that on NZDUSD. NZDUSD, potential short-term short in play. So keep an eye open for that. But that should be fueled by the dollar index, which then reacts to that overall liquidity low, which we are at on the weekly and on the daily time frame. And then, of course, we have dollar yen and gold. So dollar yen still looking for a buy opportunity. Here what we have is something very interesting, because on the weekly time frame we are inside a weekly sell before a buy. So that's your weekly area of demand. So from this weekly area of demand, I'm looking for a potential rebound here. Obviously, we're also at a key level of support as well. So then if I dive into the daily time frame, what I'm looking at here is, okay, the daily is also in this sell before the buy up. This is a nice area of demand, pretty much. Why? Because it took out this low, and then from there we saw the V-shaped reversal back in towards the highs. So to me, this shows that at this level there is a lot of demand within the market. And what I'm now looking for is pretty much the confirmation that the market wants to reverse. So now this here is my daily fractal high. If we take out that daily fractal high, this becomes your demand zone, and I'll be looking for more buys up higher to take out, for example, these two equal highs over here. So yeah, looking for some dollar yen longs if we get that daily fractal structure shift here on the 4 hour. We're obviously consolidating, so I'll just be sticking to the daily for now, and once we get that daily fractal break, so the high break of this doji candle, then I'll see if the lower time frame provides us with any opportunities. Last of all, we have, of course, gold. Gold itself, again, pushed up higher yesterday. Yeah, guys, what can I say with gold? Gold, just keep on buying it. Look for buys, look for buys, look for buys. The easiest way to trade gold at the moment is looking for consolidation and then buying the breakout. So what you have, for example, here is a momentum trade where you have a lot of momentum, market moves sideways, and then you just want to be buying pretty much the breakout like this with your stops underneath that range. And sometimes you're going to be caught out with like a fake out, but it is something that does work more often than not here as of recent on gold, because gold doesn't always retrace in towards those demand zones as we have seen as of recent. A good example is, let's say over here where you see the impulse up, you see the sideways correction, and then you just buy this high break over here in towards the highs. And obviously in the future it does retrace, but yeah, that is kind of like the momentum trades that you need to look to trade, because yeah, that's how you're gonna be able to make money on this market with gold. So that's what I'm looking for. Again, yeah, what can I say? It is bullish, looking for a retracement before getting into any potential longs, looking for consolidation, yeah, before potential longs. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. For the New York session, we're going to go live here on YouTube, so make sure to tune in. I'll drop a link to the stream here in the description of this video or in the comment section of this video, and have an amazing day.